welcome you all here. Once again, my name is Nishay. I am the CEO of Perrielleie, where we help service-based companies and nonprofits build their brands and grow their business with top-tier content marketing. And today, I'm excited because it is episode 3 of the Brand Boss Spotlight, our new IGTV series where we premiere wonderful CEOs who are doing their thing and they're excelling in their industry and in their field, and they're making a great contribution to the community. And so today we have Christy Staples.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, and I'm gonna give a quick little backstory of how we even met. Christy and I were in a graduate program together, which was actually all about becoming an entrepreneur. And I will say that when I met Christy in our program, she was always, when I tell you, this woman had such a great presence and just very helpful, very kind, and she was always dropping gems. Like sometimes we'd be in the class, like the professor would be, doing his thing, but when Christy got to talking and just kind of, giving it to us in a real way, everybody was like, yeah. So I knew, I was like, Lord, I got to get connected. I got to stay connected to this one because she's one to be connected to. So I've always admired, just your presence and your professionalism and just very personable and very intelligent woman. So I'm super excited to share you with my audience and vice versa. So without further ado, please share, a little bit about yourself and how you got started as an entrepreneur.
Well, thank you for having me. I am so excited because I am Christy Staples, and I'm the owner of Get Lunch. And Get Lunch is a branding and launch agency where I work with actual visionaries who are ready to add another stream of income to their business by launching digital products. So that's who I service. That's what I do. How do I get into this? Okay, boy. So the way I got into business period with this Get Launch piece is I was volunteering. I volunteered for a girlfriend who started a nonprofit. And I would leave my job every day and come to her house about 3 or 4 times a week. And we launched her nonprofit. We did the paperwork, went to the IRS, got it approved. And when we got everything done, she was like, you should help other people do this. And I was like, do what? And she was like, launch their business. I was like, nah, that's not me. She said, but no, that's what you just helped me do. And so she was like, no, that's going to be your business, because she's kind of bossy. She was like, no, that's going to be your business. I'm going to get your logo done. And she got me a logo done. So I had my first logo for my business because I volunteered to help a friend in need. And it was just something I was doing out of pure passion. I mean, she didn't pay me or anything, but just showing up and volunteering and looking to see what parts of business I like. So I love that startup phase, or that kind of phase where visionary sees something and they want to actually give it legs and bring it to life. So I love that part of business.
Yes, and that is so awesome. And volunteering is definitely something that can help people when they're trying to look for clients as well, volunteering. So as you got started, tell us about that journey, just from starting with that logo and up until now. What did that look like for you in that process of just your mindset and the habits or the people that you had to begin to kind of center yourself around?
So the journey was twist and turn. It was up and down. It was turn it around. It was, okay, I stopped. I quit. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't have no traction. So really, when I began Get Lunch, I didn't have a clear understanding or idea of who I was servicing. So in the beginning, I was broke, and I was servicing broke people. So
let's talk about it. Yes,
I'm serious. I was going after the wrong person, and so you can't make a living because at the time that I really branched out and started doing Get Lunch, I got laid off from my first job, and I was like, okay, this is my time to do it. And I fell flat on my face. I was like, okay, I got to go back to work. And it was because I had to take a step back and say, it was because I was working with other entrepreneurs in the startup phase. And they didn't have the resources or the understanding that you hire someone to help you start if you don't know how to do it. And so I didn't have my services clearly defined. My pricing was like dirt cheap. I mean, it was just like free city. So I was so used to volunteering that I took that into my business model and fell flat on my face. every
Oh
time.
my goodness.
The only thing that remained consistent, because I started this back in 2010, the only thing that remained consistent was the get lunch piece. Other pieces of it evolved more, but I was always get lunch, get lunch. And people were like, what you do? I said, oh, I help people start their business. So it fit. But now I'm more clear on who I service and what services I offer them. So now I'm not afraid. I'm more confident to go out and sell my services because I know exactly what I do and I know exactly the value that it brings to my clients. So I'm very clear on, at this point in my life, I don't work with startup businesses anymore. Now we have courses, we have webinars and different things like we'll do with a group, but we won't do one-on-one anymore unless it's just, something that God tells me to do. Okay, I'll do it.
Right.
Yeah, but it's been a journey. I mean, I quit when I went back to corporate America back in 2000 and what was that? I went back to corporate America back in 2014 or 15, and when I did that, I stopped my business. I was like, it's not moving. I ain't got no traction. I ain't got no clients. I don't know what I'm doing. It's failing. I don't want to do it no more. And I stopped for a year. And it wasn't until I was at church one day and I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who had just launched her event planning business. And we were just talking. I just gave her some business nuggets. And that day, the next day I saw her at church, she gave me a card and it had some money in it. And she was like, everything that you told me last week or the last time we talked, it was a blessing. And she was like, and I prayed about it. And God told me that you were the one that was going to take me and my business to the next level. To this day, that client still every 2 weeks puts money in my account because it was that person and that seed that was sown that got me back into the business and said, okay, so Get Lunch can be something. It can help someone. So that journey has been twisted and turning. Like I said, I stopped for a year and was just sitting at my desk, just bored. But I was like, it's paying the bills and I can't do this over here because I ain't doing it right. So that's how I got to the point.
Man, and that's amazing because I know that a lot of people are, especially in that predicament now with everything happening, they're ready to get away from corporate. They're ready to start their own business. And you mentioned something that was definitely important to mention about having faith and having that obedience to kind of step out there. What did that look like for you to kind of like step into something with an entrepreneurial role at that time? How was your faith strengthened or tested during that moment?
It was scary because when you look at really being an entrepreneur, it's a faith walk every day because I don't know who's going to pay their invoice. I don't know who's going to ring my phone. I don't know who's going to resonate with the post. I don't know who's going to read my emails. I don't know who's, texting somebody my number like, oh, you need to call Christy. And so for me, really being a full-time entrepreneur or just really being an entrepreneur and really being serious about it, it's faith all day long, every day. Like, you can't get around it. It's okay, where's my next blessing coming from? Okay, who's my next client? Okay, did I do well? And it was like, am I doing what you want me to do? Am I, really operating in a purpose and in my giftings, or am I just doing something for the dollar? Because that's the other part of, when I first started, I was just doing stuff that I could do, but I wasn't passionate about it, or I wasn't truly gifted to do it. Like in the beginning, I was doing social media management. I can do that, but that's not a passion of mine. And so you find yourself doing things just to pay the bills because, okay, the water bill is due and this person is giving this money, and you have to really, this is truly at a point where I've really exercised my faith on a whole different level because I've truly pivoted my business during COVID, and I went from offering my typical graphic design and branding services and web design services to more of a consultant role. And it's weird because it's coming full circle because when I wanted to start my business, I wanted to start off with consulting. And I talked to a business coach and he was like, no, you probably need to lead with design because the way you just lit up talking about this press kit, and back then I did the press kit in Word and it was like smoking back then.
Yes.
And so he was like, no, the way you just talk about these colors and this and that, you might need to lead with that. So actually design actually helped me to solidify and do some things inside of the community in the industry and set myself as an expert. But now that I get into it more, I found myself doing more consulting with people on their business model, services, or products before I could even do a logo. And so I was like, well, so maybe this is something that I need to do more of. And so that's where faith for me comes in, because it's like, oh, well, I'm cool with doing the designs and stuff because I can do that all day long. People need that all day long. They want that. But it's like, are you really going to make that pivot and transition to really go to that next level that I'm pushing you to, because it's uncomfortable, because you don't have that many clients at that level, because people don't really know you for that, because you don't really put yourself out there like that, because it's faith. And I'm like, okay, all right, is this it? I said, okay, God, is it? Allow X, Y, Z to happen. Every time I say that, He will allow it to happen the same way that I asked for it.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. That's amazing. And you know, and it's scary at the same time. And kind of how you said, where it was definitely just a testament for you just saying, okay, God, lead me. And He led you, and He's continuing to lead you. And sometimes that can be very hard when you come from a structured place of corporate. And so with being an entrepreneur and building your own team and building your own clientele, what's your day-to-day life as an entrepreneur?
My day-to-day, I try to keep it as normal as possible, meaning that I'm getting up around, it depends. I'm getting up between 5 and 6:30, depending on what my day is, right? So yesterday I got up at 5 because I had a team meeting at 7. It was kind of from 7 to 8:30. The team was on the East Coast. I'm here. And then once I got through the team meeting, I went to work out. So I went to work out, came back home, showered and got dressed because I had a full day of meetings and different things. And then in between that, you get calls and all those things. So I think for me, it is kind of having a 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 type of mentality for my business. But after then or before then is when I work on my business, because the mistake that I made in the past when I was stressed out from working or doing different things within my business for my clients is because I wasn't working on my business. I wasn't working to grow my business. I wasn't really into my social media. And so now I either work the same way, like when I had a job, 9 to 5. I would get up early, an hour, and work on my business. I will work on it during lunchtime, and then I'll work on it after hours. So I kind of keep that same mentality now so that I know I can be working on my workshops and my webinars and writing my books and doing different things that I need to grow and expand my business. Because I can only exchange so much time for money, and I'm running out of time. And I don't want to put it on my money.
Yes. Can we talk about the burnout? Because I know that a lot of people who are either starting business or been in business for a little bit, you kind of reach that phase where you're doing everything. Mm-hmm. Have you ever hit a moment in your journey as an entrepreneur with a burnout?
Oh,
have you ever been burned out?
Oh, yeah.
And how did you bounce back? How did you get out of that?
So when I hit it, it was because I was literally waking up, rolling over, getting my computer off the second pillow, going to bed, putting the computer back under the pillow. So it was truly burning the candle at the front end, burning on the back end. And so now that I realize that's what was bothering me, that's what was burning me out. So now I have parameters in place. So the way I was able to bounce back is I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I have it scheduled from like 2 a.m. to 7:30. You cannot call me. You cannot text me. I won't get the notification because people were calling, texting early in the morning. And so it was just like wake you up and bombard your day. So you never got a chance to set the tone for your day. Never. And so now when I wake up, I kind of roll into my day. I'll read some scripture, I'll pray and meditate, or I look at my to-do list, or I will download my to-do list. And I forgot to put this on my list. What is this one I need to do today? And so it gave me that morning time. So I always try to keep the time in the morning before 9 a.m. Whenever the time I wake up to 9 a.m. is my time. And if I take a call or something between then, it's because it's urgent, or I need to talk to the person, or our schedule kind of missed. But I always limit that. I have to limit that. And so that's the way I've been able to avoid burnout. And then like even today, I'll be honest with you, yesterday I woke up at 5 and I didn't go to bed till after midnight. I had a lot of things to do. Some stuff came in and kind of took out 3 hours of my day unexpected. It was great, but it was unexpected. But I still had things to do. And so I said, well, let me make sure that I do these things. And still, I worked out twice. I came home from working out, colored my hair, set up on the dryer, got as dry as I could. And, while I'm under the dryer, I'm working on my computer. And so I got everything done I need to get done at a good pace. Now, two things I didn't do, and I was okay with those not being done that day. But today, I was able to sleep in. And
Okay.
so I slept in
Mhm.
because I went so hard yesterday. And that's where I would mess up and burn out before, because it's like, oh, I went from 5 to midnight on Monday. I could do that again on
Ooh.
Tuesday. No, you can't.
You
No, you can't.
can't.
Now, you can do that
You
for like
can't.
a short-term project if it's like 3 days I need to grind or whatever. And then today, I came home and I had 2 meetings today. One got over a little early, between like 3:30. I took a nap. I took a nap. I took a nap. I took a nap from 4 to 6. I took a nap.
There you go.
And so
There you
I
go.
have to do those things because I knew I had live with you, and then I have a training after this. So
Oh,
I knew I
wow.
was going to be going long tonight. So if I'm going long in
Yeah.
the evening, I don't start as early in the day. If I do, then I cut it off at some point, refresh, get something to eat. That's another thing. I wasn't even eating on a regular schedule. That will burn you out because now you don't have energy. In the morning, I take supplements because I need my brain function. I need my vitamins. So I take supplements every morning, like religiously.
Right.
Like before I have my coffee, and I'm a coffee drinker. So it's like little things like that I have to set in my day so that I won't get burnt out. And then if I just need to take a day off, I do it. Unless it's just a pressing something I have to do, I do what's necessary today. And then I just take off, I check out, because there's no use of me spinning and running my brain power if nothing's being produced, because you're tired, because you have other things on your mind, because, family issues or whatever it is. Sometimes you just need to kind of step away and then come back harder the next day.
Yeah, and that kind of flows into, like, work-life balance. Do you believe in work-life balance? And if you do, how do you do that?
I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in just kind of harmony. I
Mhm.
believe in harmony because sometimes one thing will require more of you and something else will get less of you. So it's never a balance. Nothing's going to be equal. And so it's just
Yeah.
about being okay with, okay, like last week was ridiculous. I didn't wash dishes. I mean, because my schedule was crazy. So
Oh, I know.
dishes got went to the wayside. Um, I had to wash clothes because I was working out twice a day. But stuff like vacuuming the floor, stuff I normally would do on a regular basis, I didn't do it. Missed the trash can, the garbage truck. I mean, and I was okay with that. I
Yeah.
was totally okay with that. So once I got us, and I'm very much like that. So if I'm in the middle of a project or my schedule's real hectic, like my desk gets messy and stuff like that. But as soon as that project is over, I give me a good night's sleep. And then the next morning, like Saturday morning, I was like, okay, time to get your house back in order. And I'll give
Yeah.
myself that time. Before,
Yeah.
I would have been like dog tired and I would just slept all weekend and didn't do anything and then wake up to that mess on Monday. And then you can't start your week cluttered like that. And so now I've set up
Yeah.
parameters where I don't do that. So to me, there's not balance, there's harmony. And you have to give yourself grace in areas that are not getting your full attention, or you bring in help. And sometimes I bring in a maid or something if it just gets too out of control. Like if I got 2 weeks back to back like that, okay, I need some help.
Right. Right. That's good. Because some people feel guilty for asking for people to, or even hiring someone to come in and do that for them. It's a lot of guilt in that because you feel like sometimes, especially how people were raised. I know for me, like you got to clean everything, you need to cook everything, you need to do everything. But that's good that you're able to see, I need help. I need to go ahead and bring somebody in because I
Yeah,
can't do this.
and especially being single with no kids, it's like, what you need help with? I'm like, by the time I get through, like I have 3 bathrooms. By the time I get through cleaning 3 toilets and taking calls in between and getting sidetracked with other stuff, it done took me all day to clean 3 toilets. Well,
Yeah.
somebody could have came in here for 30 minutes and cleaned them toilets, and I would have been okay. Even with down to like food, sometimes I'm like, okay, I didn't get a chance to meal prep, or I didn't get a chance to go to the grocery store, and like now I'm eating very light, so it's nothing for me to go get 5 salads already pre-made,
Right.
and I'm
And
good.
that's good.
And I'm
You
good.
set yourself a system.
Yeah. And I give myself grace for that. And I'm like, yes, I can cook. Yes, I can do all those things. But at this present moment, that's not a priority to me. The priority is just that I eat and I eat healthy. And if I don't have those salads set up, I'm in the drive-through line for sure.
Yeah. Okay, and it's okay. Go ahead and spin the block, as they say.
Yeah.
So what excites you the most about being an entrepreneur?
So what excites me the most is when clients get results. So I love when a client does what I tell them to do, or we figure out a plan or a strategy and it works for them. And they have that whole deer in the headlights type of feelings like, oh my gosh, I got it. So just to give them that win and see them win and see their confidence being built up, and then they go forth even stronger because now they're confident and like, yeah, I got this. This worked. Boom. That's what I love. I love seeing people get results. I love it.
That's awesome. And it's very, very rewarding. And with that, like, what inspires you to create? Because, you know, you are a creative person. So what really inspires you, gets you going every time? Like, is it reading, or what exactly kind of gets your creative juices flowing?
So sometimes it's reading, but mostly lately it's been seeing the gaps and identifying where I can educate my clients or help them out even more. So hence the way I pivoted in my services is, number one, I got real consistent with my email marketing. So for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, I've been very consistent, except for when I did take a break and I said, hey, I'm going on vacation. And I did. I kind of went on vacation. And I've been very, very consistent with my email marketing. And I mean, and you know, from school, like, I am a good writer. I didn't think I was a good writer, but I'm a very good writer. And so I said, well, let me help, because I've ran into so many of my clients. I'm like, do you have an email marketing system? Do you do? No. So now I offer email marketing services. Well, I will go and write the emails for them. So that's like the pivot that I'm doing. And that's how I help and identify. And that's why I become more creative, because I see the holes and the gaps where I can identify education or I can identify a solution. So that's where really my creativity comes from, is being involved with my clients to a certain level that I see what the goals and what the gaps and the holes are, and I fill it in if I can.
Yes, that's awesome. And I think you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but what are one or two actions that you've kind of taken since 2020 with everything that happened to kind of get you honed in with your business and anchored down? What actions did you take?
So the first thing I did was really get clear on what is next level for me, because I felt like I kind of mastered the level that I was at. And I said, what is it for that next level? What do you want out of your business? What is the more thing that you want to do? And for me, it's teaching. I love teaching. I love helping people to really get it. I love helping them to see it. But then also I know that God has given me a gift to take something that's really, really huge and break it down to its most elementary and smaller parts. And so with that gift, that makes me a teacher, because I have the patience for it. And then also I know how to give it in a way to you that's digestible and you can go and take action. And so I said, well, I want to teach more. And so I've been making opportunities for myself to go and teach, whether it's on my platform or somebody else's platform. I'm making way for myself to go and teach more. And then secondly, it is really being open to pivoting in my services. So I really have talked about how I've grown and evolved on my social media, and just really being open and transparent. And the more I evolve, the more my customer base evolves as well. And so those are the main two things I did do in 2020 to really pivot my business.
And that's awesome, because like I said before, even in graduate school, like, you would literally, like, we would kind of go to you to be like, okay, Christy, like, what do you think we should do? Because you just made it so easy. Like, we understood it whenever you were saying to us everything. So that's definitely a gift that you definitely have, and I love to see that. I see the transparency in your post and just sharing more. And I guess let's talk about that, because especially in this industry, it's a lot of, it is saturated, but some people can look at it as competition, everyone's competition and everything. So how do you deal with competition versus collaboration?
So I deal with competition. Well, let me be honest, I really don't deal with it, because once I made up my mind that I was going to be me, and that I was going to start to show up more, and that I was going to really start living out loud on social media, the competition got eliminated, because there's not another.
I love that.
I'm serious. There's not another 6'4" Christy Lachelle Staples walking around here with the knowledge and skill set that I have. So I don't look at other people as competition. Even with us, we do a lot of the same things with branding and marketing, but I don't look at us as competition, because you have the voice that you have, I have the voice that I have. And then when I really start playing toward I want to say when I started playing toward my little the geek side of me, right? Because I was so motivational and inspirational, just that's what all I was doing. So then I was like, after grad school, I was like, man, I know a lot of stuff, and I didn't know why I knew it or how I knew it. And so that's what grad school gave me. One of the things was to really show me that I knew certain principles and that they worked. And then it gave me the backing to know where it came from, because I like to know where stuff comes from, right? And so when I started to actually show up and be me, 6'4", from Mississippi, country, big-eyed, there's no other me. There's no other me. And so that eliminates the competition for me, because I'm going to be me. And so I look at everybody that is in my competition, well, in my arena or in my industry, like, girl, let's collaborate, let's do this. So it's not a competition, because the person that's for you is for you, and the person that's for me is for me. So some people will resonate with this country girl from Mississippi, Ruleville girl who played basketball, got discovered in the drive-thru at McDonald's, as opposed to somebody else, because I'm the type of person that I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna go and blow smoke and sugarcoat everything. That's what y'all have enough of that. And I'm like, baby, that's not working. That's not working. Because I'm sitting up cringing anyway, and like, I'm like, baby, that's not working.
Yeah.
That's not working. It's not working.
But you know, we need, and that's why I love to do this, because we need more women like you to, like you said, show up in your true authenticity and not be afraid, and show up, like you said, loud on social media, and just not in a way that's, you know, abrasive, but in a way that is making your own lane for you. Like you said, you have your voice, people have their voice, and we definitely want people to understand that let's collaborate. You know, that everybody can get a coin and get a bag, as they say, you know.
Right. And the beautiful thing about that is that when you know what your lane is, you know where you fit, right? It's nothing for me to say, well, no, I don't do that anymore, but I know somebody that does, and refer people to you, right? So now you have this ecosphere, you have this level of influence. And so if I lean somebody toward you to get what they need, don't you think I know somebody's going to point somebody toward me? And so once again, it's not competition. I am giving what I plan to receive. I'm always giving a referral. I mean, I get referrals, and I just got somebody say, oh, well, thank you for the referral. I referred that lady back months ago. I forgot, right? Because it's not let me keep a tab, let me keep a tally, because I know the more I give, the more I receive. That's principle. That's Bible. And so I'm not going to hoard things on. Even with information, I'm not going to sit up and say, oh, well, you got to pay me for this. I can tell you exactly what to do. You're not going to do it, so you still won't come to me and pay for it. So that's why I don't understand why people are like, oh my gosh, let me hoard this information. You got to pay me for this. Maybe you can give it to them step 1, step 2, step 3. They're going to be like, well, what website you say I go to? Well, what they say I do. They ain't going to do it. They still going to pay you to do it, because now they see that they can trust you. Because if you gave me this for free, I know that you can trust me. I can trust you to do the work for me, because you just told me what to do. So either they don't know what to do, or they just want to pay for somebody else to do it. So I'm not worried about no competition, because I am me. I'm me. I'm competing against the older version of myself that was yesterday. Christy, get better than yesterday. Okay, come on with your time for your cardio. Get better than you were yesterday. That's the only competition that I have, because there's only one me.
Yes, indeed. And what motivates you, you know, to kind of get you in that mindset? Because, you know, as humans, we go through different things happen in our lives, and you know, sometimes it's hard not to get distracted, but what keeps you on track and motivated?
Well, I get off track. I'm not going to lie. I get off track. But what keeps me coming back is the stickies. Like, I'm looking at my stickies now on my plexiglass board. I'm looking at the things that I've set up in my house as markers to keep me going, because you're one phone call away. You're one idea away from your millions. And so when you when it downloads, you need to write it down. You need to write it down, because I'm a big picture person, but then also I'm going to stop and say, okay, now let's get some logistics. Let's get a strategy together for how we're going to do this. What resources do we need? What people do we need? What do we need to pull in? And so you have to keep the big picture and the vision before you. that keeps you going. That keeps you getting up. That keeps you motivated. Like in my downstairs, I have like 4 of these big old sheets of paper, and each one has my services. Each one has like my summit. Each one has something that I'm doing that I've drawn out and mapped out. That's what keeps me going. Ain't no paintings on the wall. It's just paper. That's my wall. On the refrigerator.
Your wall of motivation.
Yeah, on my refrigerator
like
are my affirmations and things that I want out of life. And I see it every time I go get some water. I see it every time I go to the refrigerator. So it's just being a big picture person. And, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I know you asked me this question. Let me be honest with you.
Come on, talk to us.
Yeah, I got to a point where I stopped dreaming. I got to a point where I was the smartest person in the room. I got to a point where I didn't know what was my next. And what I realized is that I was around the wrong people because I outgrown them. And I said, Christy, if somebody came to you right now and said they're going to invest in you, they're going to give you an exact number of money that you need to do whatever it is that you want to do, would you be able to collect that money? I had to honestly tell myself no. I had to honestly tell myself no.
Wow.
Because I wasn't prepared. Because I had stopped dreaming. I had stopped thinking about future. Because I got so caught up in maintaining the day-to-day.
Yeah. That
I had stopped dreaming bigger picture. So now that's why I'm like, no, what's the bigger picture? Don't stop yourself from dreaming. That's why I created the Idea Launchpad. Don't stop yourself. Don't stifle yourself from having your ideas. You know how you can walk in or you can just see something and it's just like, boom, it starts flooding. And what do? We try to stop it, to grab something, write it down, instead of letting it go and then write it down. And so you're stifling your creativity when you stop your ideas from flowing.
Wow. I never thought about that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That's what has to keep you going, because you have to have a vision big enough for you that it takes more than your 2 hands to do it. See, I was focused on everything that I can get done with my 2 hands. And if I can get it done with my 2 hands, it's not a God vision. It's not. It's just something I'm doing every day. And so I had to stop and start dreaming again and say, what do you really want out of life? What do you really want to do? What do you want to be known for? How do you want to grace that stage?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I saw Madam C.J. Walker, when she walked out of her mansion and all those women were standing in her yard, I cried because I saw myself on that stage doing that. I didn't realize that was me until I saw somebody else do it.
Yeah.
I had stopped dreaming. I had stopped wanting to be the leader that people know me to be. So I had to get out of that. I had to start dreaming again and see myself on a stage, thousands of women, not afraid, voice not trembling, really powerful and confident in what I'm delivering, that I could talk for hours on end.
Right.
That's what I see.
And someone just said, I think it was the Cia Jenkins, I hope I'm saying your name right, your circle matters. And that's one thing I was going to ask you, like, who is your team and how do people show up for you in support? And how do you solicit or select your team?
Well, I'm be honest with you. I don't really solicit or select anybody. I just let God do it. So I have personal friends, right, that help me with personal things, that know my personal struggles. And then I have people in my business space. So now I just joined a mastermind where I'm working with some people out of DC, and they're my mentors and stuff. So they help me with the techie side of me, like the systems and all those different things. So that's where I am with that. But it's just like I have different circles that feed me in different ways. And so, I have one girlfriend that helps me with, okay, Christy, did you get you some clothes? Did you buy you some shoes? I'm like, yeah, I didn't buy no shoes or nothing. So it's just like I have different people that help me with different things. I have a coach that helps me with my mindset and my body, right? So helping me to eat better, helping me with my supplements, helping me to really grab hold of where I want to be mentally and really become the person I want to be. And then I have a personal trainer who helps me with, working out and stuff. So it's like I have to have different things for different people to help me get to that place, because I can't depend on one circle for everything, right? So that's why I am.
Good.
So, but I'm not a clique girl. I'm an only child by nature, so I'm not a cliquish type of girl. So I weave in and out of situations or things. So I'm never really, tied to anything. I'm not tied to personalities or anything. I understand seasons and circles very well, and I compartmentalize stuff very well,
Wow.
almost to a default. So sometimes I have to kind of pull myself out of that and be like, hey, no, you need to stick around here a little longer, right? But that's just because I'm not tied to personalities, because I don't get caught up in personality. I get caught up in purpose. So I understand the purpose
Yes.
of things.
That's good. I like that.
See.
I knew you was gonna drop the gems. I knew you were gonna drop the gems. So I'm gonna do a replay to see. Okay, she said this, or she said, because you are so true. And someone else just said, I think K Sunshine, it's important to have different circles, and that's one thing I'm learning as an entrepreneur. You have your friends don't want to hear about business 24/7, so it's good to have a different bucket of friends and things like that. So. You're right on.
And it's so funny too that you bring that up, because this weekend I'm going away on Friday to Sunday. I'm going to hang out with my basketball friends. So that is going to be hilarious.
Yes.
Totally hilarious. So they know the 16, 17-year-old Christy that came to Houston country, right, wearing duck heads and stuff. So they know me, and they're looking at me now like, who is this girl? So it's going to be a good balance for me, right? Because they were like, man, you remember that time we were doing no suicide? So, it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to be with these girls after 20 years. Like,
wow.
Those are the first friends I had when I came to Houston, my basketball team. That was the first friends I had.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so you have plans, that's this weekend. So what are your plans for yourself and for your business for the remainder of 2021?
So I have to do a couple things. I have to, I'm going to have an online summit, online conference. I'm going to have that. And then I'm revamping my Millionaires in the Making mastermind group. And we're going to start back offering memberships. We're going to start back having our events and stuff like that. So I'm, hey, Mr. Robinson. So I'm really going big picture now and not shying away from the leadership roles that God had put me in. So.
You got that, honestly.
Yes. So it's just building a team around me. So I think the thing for me is just building a team around me that can support me and help me to do those different things, so that I can be free to really create and really lead the way I need to. So I don't need to be kind of in the weeds talking about no email. So.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Right. I know what you mean. So where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I see myself in a foreign country, speaking, doing. It's always been a dream of mine. I want to have a business school named after me. And God brought that. I
can so see that.
He brought that back to my memory a couple years ago. I was going through some old things, and I was like, wow, I did write this down. I want to have a business school named after me.
Yeah. And you will.
I will.
You will. I definitely know you will. That's so awesome. How important is it for you to, set these goals and vision? Like you mentioned, in your home, you have your plans and your strategies. Like, what advice would you give someone to kind of help them get organized and get out of their head and kind of get everything into action? What does that process look like for you?
So
help someone?
So let me tell you what the process is. This is the process. The Ideal Launchpad.
Talk about that.
So the Ideal Launchpad is a tool that I created because I knew I was going to be an author, and I knew I didn't want to do like a self-help or something like that. Not right now. So I like tools. So this is a tool that will help you go from idea to action planning. So it's 4 steps that God gave me. First step is brainstorming. You need to brainstorm. Give yourself 20 minutes to brainstorm and write down everything that comes to mind, no matter how big or small. Okay. Once you do that, then you go into organizing the ideas. So everything that you brainstorm, now we're going to put it like in an org chart, just like you do at a corporation, right? So you start with the main idea and then you branch off, right? So once you do that, then we need to start fleshing out the idea. Once you start fleshing out the idea even more, then you give yourself 5 steps that you can do immediately to take action on your idea. And so that way it can give you a yes or no if this is a viable idea.
That's good. That's awesome. And that's all in your book?
Yes, that's all in the Ideal Launch Pad. Yes, ma'am. But that's how
people can purchase this. Sorry, go ahead.
That's how you do it. That's how you get clear, because you really have to go through that whole ideation process and process your ideas from beginning to end, and then execute on them, because an idea is a waste unless you execute.
Come on. You know, they say the richest place is the graveyard. People die with their dreams and music inside of them, and we got to get this stuff out. So, you know, they can purchase your items on your, they can go to your page and go to your website.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They can do that at getlaunchtoday.com. You can get your Ideal Launch Pad. And send me DM me your address so I can send you one for free, for being a blessing to me.
I will. I definitely will. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to see if you had any advice for people who are looking to start their business. What steps or strategy would you give them to give them some encouragement?
So I would say, if you're looking to start a business or you're already in business and you're looking to expand, the first thing is don't rush it. Really think through what you want. If you just want to make an extra $1,000 a month, come up with a way just to make your extra $1,000 a month. Don't let anyone pressure you into quitting your job. Don't let them do that. So you really carve out and set up a business that you enjoy and that brings you the benefit that you desire. Get clear on what it is that you want out of your business and just execute and go forth. Don't let anybody push you into stuff that you don't want to do. And even if you end up doing it later, it has to make sense for you. So that person is planting a seed. Let that seed water and grow and become fertile. And then when it's fertile, that's when you will see it bloom and blossom. So those are my parting words for anybody that is looking to start a business. There's no rush, because there's no new idea under the sun. It's just you doing it. And then, okay, the world is oversaturated. That's what they say, but it's going to be somebody that you are targeted to help, that God has placed for you to help. But don't rush out and do it prematurely, because you won't be ready, you'll fail, and you'll be ashamed that you might not recover from that.
So good. As always, so good. And before we do leave, do you have any other promotions going on, any other events coming up that people need to kind of tune into, whatever you have going on before you go on your vacation this weekend?
So yes, we have some weekly, not weekly, we have monthly workshops that we'll be doing. So I'll be posting those on my page. They're free. And I do it, I think, like every third Sunday in the month. So we are doing free sessions for different webinars and different things from coaches and consultants, because I help service-based businesses. So I help coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, people like that. So I'm doing a lot of free training this year. So be on the lookout for that. And also grab your Ideal Launch Pad. Grab it if you have ideas. Yes.
I'm excited to get mine. So yes, that's so awesome. And, you know, Christy, I'm so proud of you. Like I said before, I knew when I seen you in that graduate class, and we were all like, okay, she really knows her stuff. You know, you are definitely a force, and I definitely see you having that school, and just even more blessings to you. And keep doing what you're doing. And did you bring a glass of wine or something to make a toast to as we sign on before we sign out?
I am doing a lot of cardio right now, so I brought water.
Okay.
I brought water.
Water and wine is very divine. So nothing wrong with that. But, you know, cheers to you and cheers to everything that you have going. Thank you so much for being a part of the Brand Boss Spotlight. And before we toast on out of here, if anyone has any questions that you guys would like to ask Christy or myself, please go ahead and drop those in the chat, as they say, and we will try to answer them as quickly as possible. I know you have something else to get to, so I want to once again thank you, Christy, and I hope you have a great evening, and I know we'll be in touch. We'll be working on some stuff together and collaborating.
Yes.
So cheers to you and everything you have going. And
cheers. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining. And This will be on a replay here, and we'll also post it onto YouTube. So you guys have a blessed evening and continuing to go after those dreams, go after those goals, and just be confident in yourself. Okay, you guys have a good night.
Good night.